We stand at the daybreak of freedom. Words spoken often by the Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. that hold up an image of hope and freedom for all of us. We're speaking about Martin Luther King Jr. today because tomorrow is the formal recognition of his contribution to our well-being as a nation and as individuals. You know, his work and his life was focused at a specific period of time and a specific contradictory circumstance in the fabric of our American society. Dr. King had an urge, a calling forth from his heart to move this nation towards the ideal on which we were founded. Profound words. All men are created equal. He understood the truth of these words and lived his own life from that place of knowing. He was a man of vision, certainly a man of God, a man of creation, and a man of manifesting dreams. And in that role in our nation's history, he brought us to deeper understandings of ourselves. How is it that a nation founded on such ideals of complete freedom for everyone, how did we come to, in certain times and places, some of us think it was okay to look down on other people? How did we come to a place where we saw others as worth less than us? Oh, thank God that's not the experience in this room, yeah. But, you know, don't we humans have the ability to just run it off the rails quite effectively? And Dr. King called us back to the truth of what we were meant to live individually and as a society. He brought us to take a look at these rich words in our founding creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Where did we make a left-hand turn? It's in the fact, I think, that when we look around us, we see so much difference, a seeming and perceived so much difference between us. And we want the comfortable, don't we? We all do. I get that. You know, like, I see this beautiful one, and I really am comfortable with her because we're the same generation. Oh, that helps a lot. Common language, you know. I look around and I see this beautiful being here in church every Sunday and other days, and I think, that's my sister. Yeah. Same as me. My sister. Yeah. If there were, there's somebody here. I like this gorgeous being over here because her hair is a little like mine. Yeah, frisky and flashy. We like understanding one another from our commonalities. Makes us comfortable. But when we look out around everywhere in our community, in our culture, and we see things that we notice are different, sometimes we don't know how to find that same comfort. We look at a handsome being here and notice he's got a way better tan than me, and I'm a little jealous about that. And we see differences that we know arise out of different cultures between us, different growing up experiences, different ways of seeing and perceiving and living in the world because of different ethnicity. And what Martin Luther King wanted us to know is while we may look out in our experience and to see all these differences, right here, here's the truth. There is no difference between us here in this space. But when we talk ourselves into allowing for the experience that it's okay to look down on someone else because they're different. And most importantly, when we allow ourselves to say we are not enough because we don't match up to some perceived idea. I'm not tall enough. I'm not short enough. I'm not young enough. Or I'm not old enough. Or I'm not enough. There isn't enough. I don't have enough health and wealth and time and energy. Well, enough already. When we can move away from seeing these differences, we close the gap on the sense of separation that exists between ourselves and another individual, between our group that we're comfortable in and those other folks over there, whatever flavor we give them. When we can close the door on there's not enough, or others are somehow worth less than we are, then we get to step into the experience of enough of everything for everyone, and we get to step in the experience of our sacred worth. In this church, we look at this idea of embracing all of our wonderful differences for the truth that lies beneath it, which is our holy, I don't want to say sameness, but our holy individual beauty, yet common experience and common truth that's within us. And in this church, we honor this beautiful diversity with a very powerful founding creed that has similarities to the words our founding fathers wrote more than 200 years ago. It is printed on the front of your bulletin every week, but I just think we'll review a moment. We believe that all people are created with sacred worth. Absolutely every one of them. And that means your mother and your father and your sister and your brother and those cousins that are real difficult to deal with, and the person that is across the way in your job that just somehow always manages to get under your skin, and especially the person in the car in front of or behind or beside you in traffic. All of us possess the beautiful gem of the divine within us. It is imperative that our ministries and outreaches be free of discrimination on the basis of race, color, gender, creed, religion, national origin, ethnicity, physical ability, and or sexual orientation. Those are simply labels, yes? They're simply ways each of us has decided to show up this time around or at this moment in time. But first and foremost, we show up from the God beings that we are. And so this stuff, yeah, it's like color in the day. Think of it that way. It's just a beautiful richness to the vast human experience that we're all having in this life this time around. And it finishes with, it is with love and in celebration of our unity in the midst of our wonderful diversity that we affirm this position. Maybe what has caused us to sometimes go off the rail in our societal experience is that we haven't taken the deep, rich ideas into our own being for ourselves, to own them personally, to claim them as truth for ourselves. So I'm going to invite us to experience that this morning with these beautiful words in the Statement of Diversity. A little rewriting, if you will, and a little cooperation from you, if you choose, and we'll express deep truth both for ourselves as well as moving that vibration out from this space this morning. Will you join me? I believe that all people are created with sacred worth. Remember, it begins with I, this statement, and so does the sacred worth. Will you join me as we continue? It is imperative that my actions be free of discrimination arising from perceived differences or separation. If we remember that someone has just taken on a cloak of a story in this life experience, we can free them and free us from the idea of separation. And to finish, it is with love and in celebration of our unity in the midst of wonderful diversity that I affirm this position. I claim that for myself, and I loved hearing all of you claim it as well. Dr. Martin Luther King wanted to draw us back to the beauty of such wisdom exists in many places in our culture, in many powerful statements of truth, to let us see that there are nonviolent, peaceful, loving, compassionate ways to live together in spite of and in celebration of our differences. Here's a quote that speaks profoundly to me. Dr. King said, "Hatred paralyzes life, while love releases it. Hatred confuses life, love harmonizes it. Hatred darkens life, love illumines it." We all at times have looked out on the landscape of our life and our culture and the world and seen the effects of hatred. But we can change the effects by starting in our own life. And the turning power from moving from those experiences in our culture, in our society, and in our world that are less than the highest ideals we choose to hold, the turning point, the action to take, is always an action of love. To ease the confusion, to unparalyze life, and to illumine with joy. Dr. King said this about the power of love. "When I speak of love, I am not speaking of some sentimental response. I am speaking of that force which all the great religions have seen as the supreme unifying principle of life. Love is somehow the key that unlocks the door to ultimate reality." And we all have unlocked the door at times in our life. Whatever the whole story is, there have been chapters and pages and exclamation points where we have said, love is the grandest and I will reach for that, and use that to be the key to open a whole new experience, to move forward from someplace that wasn't working into someplace solid, whole, and healed. You've all done that, right? Here's an easy way to start. Just smile. What a gift to give another person. A sweet, gentle, embracing smile which speaks with no words. The possibility of love moving between you. The possibility of healing separation. Mother Teresa knew the power of this and said, "Let us always meet one another with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love." And when we reach out to one another with a smile, it starts right here at the corner of the face. Little finger right there. And it moves up to sparkle in the eyes. Try not to worry about that if you're in an age where there's a little something showing up here. But you twinkle in your eyes anyway. And if you keep that energy moving from your upturned lips up to the sparkle in your eyes, the next place it will radiate from is your heart. Out to that wonderful being with whom you are sharing that smile in that moment. And you have this exchange of sweet energy. So I don't think all of us here showed up in life this time reporting for duty kind of like a Martin Luther King Jr. Me, I showed up just to be Margie here in Honolulu. Right, here in Honolulu. And I can shift energy in my own world, starting right here, in my own world, in my own greater world, and I can help shift the energy on the planet with something as simple as the gift of love through the easy, sweet mechanism of a smile. How simple that we can begin to create dramatic change in our lives and in the world in a comparable degree as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did. What a gift. I want to share some words of Dr. King's with you in his own voice this morning.
I come here tonight and plead with you. Believe in yourself and believe that you're somebody. As I said to a group last night, nobody else can do this for us. No document can do this for us. No Lincolnian Emancipation Proclamation can do this for us. No Kennysonian or Johnsonian Civil Rights Bill can do this for us. If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation.
Yes, Dr. King spoke about a particular circumstance in a particular space and time in our history. And yet those words are so very universal. The freedom we seek begins with our creating it within. We get to offer it outward to everybody with a gentle gift of a smile. And another voice of wisdom that understood a very important starting point is you. You yourself, as much as anybody in the universe, deserves your love and affection. So as you get up tomorrow morning, knowing your mission is to change the world, however large or small a mission it is, know that the beginning place is the love you hold within your heart and the love with which you hold your own being, your own sweet self. I invite you to come into a moment of quiet reflection on the opportunity to be at a new daybreak, to see the sunrise in your life on a new experience of freedom, a new experience of expressing the love that you are, of holding the great truths that have guided many cultures as your personal truth. And so we take that sweet possibility of love and freedom into the silence.